Thanks for staying with us. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service speaks on customs matters. Also on customs reports, the controller in charge of semi-border warned against smugglers of PMS outside the country. Plus, more reports. I am Igisame Ejine. Stay tuned. The Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has said that the service has generated well over 2 trillion naira this year. The CG makes a comment in Abuja when he speaks with State House correspondents in the villa. He was introduced to the State House correspondents by top officials of the Nigerian Customs Service, alongside with an official from the presidential villa.
Human capital is what makes an organization. If you're not able to get the human capital positively on your side, then the chances of success is very, very dismal. So, in arranging those mandates, Mr. President is very much aware that we must first and foremost take cognizance of the human capital. And what do we do to make sure that you align the 15,000 plus Nigerian customs men and women along the line and the path of progress? So what we did was we created, first thing we needed to do is to look at our training and remodel it. And the best way we could do that is to come up with, we borrowed a leaf from the army, thanks to where's my, the colonel. We borrowed a leaf from the army. That was where I came from. We have what is called Nigerian Army TRADOC. TRADOC is Training Doctrine Command. It is the house where training is built, skewed, and then screwed and modeled to fit the people you want to train. So the first thing we decided to do is to create a training and doctrine department responsible for the development of doctrine for mental and moral and ethical direction of officers. Because you must do that to get the capital. Then we introduce the implementation of the simplified modern business, because now that we have now found a focus for the human capital, what is next is in our own business of import, export, processing. So we address the issue of implementation of simplified modern business process, which of course, if you know, one of the gridlock we do have at the port is because we have so extensive procedures of clearance. There are over, then I think about 17 or so, or less than that, that you have to go through from one table to the other to get it sorted out. So the first thing to do is to reduce that time frame in order to make sure that an importer will not incur additional cost because he wants to clear his goods. Because if for every day after the first, how many days, 1 week, you begin to accumulate demurrage. And for every day the container stays in the hands of the terminal operators, they charge you. So the best thing you can do for any importer is to fast track the process of the clearance of this. So we address the issue of simplified process of export import. Then we haven't looked at the simplified and how we can reduce the processes to a minimum number so as to fast track the process. Then the next thing is to harmonize the process. Because then in the custom palace, we have different codes, if you know, those of you who have once cleared, or those who are importers behind the scene, or custom agents behind the scene, you know the processes, there are codes, there are HS code, what we call HS code, which are the harmonized system code. And those are what we use to identify categories of goods and what percentage of tariff is allocated to them. We haven't done that, then we now got back to addressing the issue of the human capital, and that's what is in there. Having looked at what we need, then we quickly look at the capacity building. We need to build capacity as in terms of our men. We need to come up with models of courses that needs to move the people to the level of the best practice globally. Custom, as you know, without saying, is a global organization. We have what we call the World Custom Organization, which we all belong to. And under that umbrella, we operate virtually the same goods globally. We harmonize our system globally. So we need to get our officers to that level where their own capacity to be able to perform at the best practice globally is attained. And of course, we try to create balance and control through optimal technology deployment. Today, I make bold to say Nigerian Customs Service is one of, if not the best, in terms of technological development and processing. Our NICE2, which we are very soon going to move into the trade modernization system, is the best. On that platform, we have, as of today, over 37 agencies that are key in there. And we believe that for us, that is the single window for Nigeria, because all trading partners key into that. They have access to it and they work on it. So we believe that that should be our single window as moving forward. But for today, that is our platform of operation. And everything we do in terms of import and export processing is automated. It's automated.
The Contract General speaks more on a number of issues
That we put in place, and then we now look at the structure. What do we need to do with the structure? Is what on the ground good enough for us to be able to execute optimally our mandate, or do we need to tinker with it? And I want to assure you that between me and the management of the Nigerian Customs Service, having looked at it holistically, we believe we need to unbundle some commands and units. Unbundling means we have to open up, create more commands in order to cover more areas, and then create more specialized commands to take care of specialized areas. And that we will see. Unbundling of commands units and creation of new commands to achieve strategic objectives. Example, non-intrusive inspection area, that is the scanners. We need to have specialized people to manage the scanners. We also look at the marine, because that is a special. The gentleman sitting right behind you is a marine officer to the core. He grew up in that sector, and he is our expert when it comes to marine. So we have to boost that, because we are not only fighting smuggling along the land borders, we are also fighting smuggling along the creeks. We are also collaborating with Nigerian Navy to ensure that we monitor our high seas. As of today, we have seagoing boats that we use for patrols on the high sea. So the marine aspect is very, very important to us. And also, we have an air wing. I'm sure a lot of people do not know that Nigerian Customs Service has an air wing until we closed the border. That was when we maximally used our air platforms. At that time, as of today, we have one jet aircraft, Cessna, and then we have 2 Bell helicopters. Those are used for patrols and the monitoring of our border. We are in the process of acquiring additional aircraft. Hopefully, if we get the approval from FEC, to buy one more additional operational aircraft. And that's to enhance our capability to be able to monitor our borders and effectively implement our mandate of anti-smuggling. So we also, the oil and gas is expanding. There are so many free trade zones now that have oil in them. So we needed that, and we created a separate command to be able to look after the free trade zone and ensure that effective operational capability is entrenched. Then, of course, we get back. We can any time we're doing these things, we must continuously look at the human aspect of what we're doing, and then we enhance human resource management by ensuring proper element of officers and men, define clear paths for career progression, and ensure promotions based on merit. You may know that when I came into Nigerian Customs Service, there were promotions going on quite okay, but I must confess that there was no standing operational procedure for promotions. And what will kill the morale of officers is not knowing when they are due for promotion and when they should be promoted. We, at the management level, we set up a committee and came up with an SOP. And that SOP clearly defines time frame for officers. How many years would you spend on a particular rank? And at what time would you be qualified for a promotion exam? And if you pass your promotion exam, how are you? What becomes of your promotion? All those ones were well articulated in our standing operational procedure.
He also commented on issues of operation and how the service has generated more revenue for the country.
All these things we build is towards making sure that at the end of the day we'll be able to collect the revenue that is collectible for Nigeria. And we cannot do that without putting those things in place. And today, I must say, we have been able to perfect some of our systems from being electronically viable to the capacity of our officers to be able to do the job in the best way possible, and also based on equipment. We came up with a multi-strategic approach to blocking revenue leakage. What used to happen is not that there was no import or export coming in and going out. It is that there are so many leakages. And the best you can do is to come up with a system to make sure that you block these leakages. And that's what we do. It's not that the volume of import or export has increased far more than it used to be. It is that we have been able to we have succeeded as a management to identify those leakages, and we are working assiduously to block them one after the other. And it is the speed at which we block this that will increase our revenue generation from time to time. And that's why we move from 876 billion in a year to today, as at the last collection, we are at 2 trillion 130 something billion. So we're working, hopefully we will meet the target of 3.019. We are pushing, but also there are factors that are also pushing back. There are some anticipations that we did. There are things that we factor into our collection that we hope that if they had taken place on time, like the carbonated drinks that was approved for us, we didn't get to start collection until about half part of the year. So we've lost the first part of the year, which that means whatever would have been collected would have been added to our realization of the target is not there. Also, the telecommunication tariff. If some of you, and Mr. President will now send to that notification, and then we'll stop. So we are working now to make sure that we collect that money, but we're late. We're late. We're not sure we'll get much from it between now and December. So those factors may affect our revenue, but despite that, the men and women of Nigerian Customs are working very assiduously to make sure that we collect whatever is collectible.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Customs Area Controller in charge of semi-border has smashed a syndicate that specializes in smuggling PMS outside the country, so that its men are equal to the tax, and will continue to arrest and prosecute smugglers or PMS at the nation's borderline.
I think the command has been doing very well in trying to ensure suppression of PMS being taken out of this country. From January to date, we're able to make a seizure of PMS, that's a petroleum product, of 609,260 liters. That is equivalent to almost 19 tanker lots of 33,000 liters of fuel, with a duty paid value of 178,876,000. So if you go by that, you see really the officers here have been doing their job. And just recently, on the 21st of this month, we were able to make another remarkable seizure of 2,002 jerrycans of petroleum product. So really, it has not been easy for the smugglers along these axis that are involved in this smuggling of petroleum products. If you can remember, we have been given directives by the CDC of Customs to ensure that we intensify patrols along the border lines here, to ensure that these unpatriotic Nigerians that are involved in the smuggling of petroleum products are frustrated. And, I know they are frustrated. The results I've just narrated to you. You see that, yes, it has been very effective, because we have a kind of, apart from the command, we ensure that we collaborate with other custom units to ensure that the border line here, the smugglers have been pushed away, or they are frustrated. We have the Federal Operation Unit, we have the Strike Force Unit. So if anything passes one, I don't think it will pass the other. So there is that kind of check and balances. Apart from that, Customs as a lead agency here, we try to ensure that all other security agencies, they are partners in trying to see that we suppress smuggling of petroleum products out of this country, most especially the military. They have been of much help to us.
The custom boss one will be smugglers to desist from the act of smuggling, saying that anyone caught made to face the law.
In trying to ensure that we comply with these directives from our CGC. Now we go on the offensive now. We go after them. And anytime we are going, it means we are prepared. So by the time we get to them, they know they cannot stand us. So what they do, they bail out, they run away. And most of them, if it's along the beaches or the coastline, most of them are good swimmers. They enter, we leave them, we take what we have come to take, just to ensure that we make them not to come back, or we frustrate them. Well equipped, and they know they cannot stand to this thing. And I don't know, but this ASIS, Badagry Seme ASIS, we have never had the experience of having any attack by them. Once we come, they know we are more equipped and more ready for them, so they bail away, or they run away, and at times leave their vehicles or their trucks conveying those products. My message to them, they are Nigerians like us. I just want them to be patriotic and engage in compliant trade or compliant business, Because as long as they continue to endorse themselves in smuggling, then we will continue to frustrate them and they will lose their investments. So customs is ready to assist them where they feel we can. We can guide them. There are a lot of businesses they can do along the borders here. It's just for them to meet us. They cannot. We can even go to them because presently we have reached out all the communities along these border lines. So our doors are always open for them in whatever they want. But we always want them to understand that we are not here to disturb anybody from doing any business. They'll be welcome if they want to change, those that indulge in that. But as long as they continue to be smuggling, we'll continue frustrating them. And I think the results are good. So far, so good.
The controller in charge of FOU Zone B has again intercepted goods worth millions of naira for smugglers who refuse to pay duty to the federal government. He said that his men will always implement government policies according to the laid down rules of the federal government.
We have 724 bags of foreign parboiled rice in 50 kg. We have 227 cartons of foreign spaghetti and couscous. We have 110 bales and sacks of foreign second-hand clothing. We have 135 sacks of expired foreign milk powder. We have 149 kegs of PMS and AGO in 25 liters. We have 90 parcels of Indian hemp. We have 50 kg of foreign vegetable oil in 25 liters. 33 cartons of foreign milky creamer. 31 cartons of unregistered pharmaceutical products. 30 bags of foreign fertilizer. 23 sacks of foreign used shoes. And 16 units of vehicles. Out of these 16 units, 9 are means of conveyance. You know what is the means of conveyance, the vehicle that is used in carrying the illicit product. We have 7 units of used vehicles that came through unapproved routes. What is this unapproved route? Through border station that the government doesn't allow vehicles to come through that.
The controller speaks more about issues as relates to smuggling of items without approval from government.
We have 10 bags of foreign rice in 25 kg and 7 sacks of foreign tiger nut. All these items cumulatively stood at 229,550,180 kobo, naira 7 kobo. As I said, the smugglers are desperate. The mode of concealment is always changing. Without information, without increase in capacity, without increase in our power of observation, some concealment can never be detected. So we're very happy as our capacity increased based on certain variables, the cooperation we're receiving from the press, the cooperation we are receiving from the members of the public, the mobility given to customs to operate, the customs welfare, all this crowned together gave us the ability, the capacity to increase in our efficiency and in our capacity.
Just before the end of this week edition of the program, Custom Support, we brought you a report where just what millions of naira was intercepted by some various commands in the country. For me, Igiseme Thanks for watching.